Here's a stunning development. This Ford dealership in California is offering a test drive of a Mach-E and a Tesla Model Y back to back. Their ad says, "We are so confident you will choose the all-electric Mustang Mach-E that we bought a Tesla Model Y for you to conveniently test drive and compare both at our dealership." I tried the Mach-E and there's no comparison. As long as they don't cheat, for example, let's say they could deflate the tires or do something silly to the car, as long as they don't do that, there's no way that most people will take the Mustang Mach-E. For example, they could put the car in chill mode and then it's pretty slow. In the meantime, Ford slows Mustang Mach-E EV production as sales slip in October. Elon has now announced that Tesla will build the next generation vehicle in Europe as well, specifically in Giga Berlin. And Europe possibly could be the largest market for that vehicle actually. These smaller vehicles are really popular in Europe. And James can't help but think this is bullish that Elon said Giga Berlin is the jewel of Germany. The next generation vehicle is coming, it's just a matter of time. Tesla so far announced the next generation vehicle plans for Berlin, Austin, and Mexico. But what about China and the rest of Asia? Perhaps Tesla is thinking about building in India and not in China? That could seem a bit odd, but if Tesla is thinking very far ahead, or if Tesla thinks that there are big geopolitical risks with China specifically, that makes sense. It would appear to me that India is much more of an ally to the US than China is. And then Tesla increased the price of the black color option for the Model Y. Basically, Tesla is doing these little price increases. They are sort of hidden, but they are still price increases in the end. And Tesla increased the APR percentage again, despite interest rates actually not increasing. So many Tesla stock investors will take it as really good news. But in the long term, I certainly expect many more price cuts later. Kia urges dealers to resist markups on the new three-row EV9 electric SUV. So Kia is asking their dealers to not make as much money as they possibly can. I don't think that's exactly how it works. I mean, if Kia doesn't really want them to do it, then maybe don't have dealers, sell directly to the customer, just like Tesla does. Kia said the EV9 customer is an important new owner to the Kia brand, and price transparency will be paramount as part of the purchase experience. Kia added, "We asked dealers to retail the EV9 without markup over the MSRP price." Kia is asking their dealers to be socialists, basically, not capitalists. I applaud them for at least trying, but there's basically nothing they can really actually do. But so far, this car has gotten quite a bit of attention because it starts at only $55,000 and it's a three-row SUV. Tesla Semi is a threat to OEM, says Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley conducted a comparative analysis of the Tesla Semi and existing heavy-duty BEV trucks, and they say that this truck from Tesla poses a threat to truck OEMs worldwide. I think Morgan Stanley is right about this one. And James says Tesla Semi is a mortal threat to semi-trucks globally. The only limiting factor is Tesla's ability and desire to build them. In my valuation model, I actually model the Tesla Semi separately from everything else because I think it's going to be that important to Tesla. That model is available on my Patreon. Volkswagen nixes their Czech plant and is now only building 3 battery factories instead of 6 promised at its Power Day in March 2021. Capacity-wise, though, the 3 under construction can churn out 2.7 million battery electric vehicles a year. Oh, and it turns out Volkswagen has postponed a 4th battery factory in Europe indefinitely now. We have seen the Cybertruck front close, but here it is opening. All right, it opens automatically basically after giving it a bit of a nudge. We know that the front is powered and this is still a prototype probably. So if you open it later, it should probably just open automatically after you just press the open button. Here's an inside look at Tesla based on what the employees said. 2 Tesla engineers shared that they joined the electric vehicle maker straight out of engineering school with the hope that they could work their way up to an engineering role. This has proven quite challenging, the employees noted, since even internal promotions are competitive. Tesla tends to see a lot of interest among job seekers. However, the company attracting 3.6 million applicants last year. A Tesla employee said, I think for a lot of the people that work at Tesla, it's not just a job. People are proud of what they do here. They believe in the mission of the company. Despite the apparent mixed opinions from Tesla workers, the UAW is reportedly making progress in its efforts to organize the Fremont factory in California. Earlier this week, a Bloomberg report claimed that the UAW had formed an organizing committee at the facility. Elon Musk, for his part, has previously invited the UAW to hold a vote at Tesla's Fremont factory. The CEO has also expressed confidence that Tesla workers would likely vote against a union, considering that former UAW members who work at Tesla are not huge fans of UAW. The plant that Tesla owns in Fremont, California, collapsed basically. Toyota and GM exited that plant because UAW demanded for way too much, and a lot of people lost their jobs. And that's how Tesla was able to pick up that factory. Paul Graham here says, I don't agree with Elon about everything, but you have to give him this. He has achieved more than roughly 100% of his critics. Toby says, combined. He's the founder and the CEO of Shopify, by the way, multi-billionaire, just like Elon is, although Elon is much wealthier. Elon says, thanks, Toby. I certainly make many embarrassing mistakes, but my batting average is pretty good. I have found that these two things, number one, being willing to be embarrassed, but then number two, using your motivation to not have to be embarrassed, which makes you work a lot harder. I found that these two things can actually make you quite a bit more successful. It's a bit of a contradiction, but if you read the Self-Made Billionaire Effect, they say, from the research of studying many billionaires, they conclude that a lot of billionaires are able to hold two conflicting ideas in their mind at the same time and use both of them. I read over 1,000 books, and if you want to make a crazy amount of money, this book is one of the better books you can read. Nio aims to enter the US market by 2025 with China-made premium electric vehicles. They are going to pay a very high import tax, and on top of that, they will not get the $7,500 EV tax credit. How will they sell any vehicles is a big question. Joe Tagmeyer just posted this picture of the Giga Texas entrance at night, and it looks awesome. I'm looking forward to the Tesla Cybertruck delivery event. If this is true, Tesla FSD is already better than Cruise. Every Cruise vehicle was supposedly supported by 1.5 workers per vehicle, more than a manually driven car. The workers remotely intervene to assist the vehicles every 2.5 miles on average, according to 2 people familiar with operations. This does not mean that the vehicles were driven remotely. The software on the car is still driving, but humans can provide input to guide it. Cruise employees worry that there is no easy way to fix the company's problems, said 5 former and current employees and business partners, while its rivals fear Cruise's issues could lead to tougher driverless car rules for all of them. I don't really mind tougher rules. I just want the vehicles that will be autonomous to be safer than human driving. And if you have a human intervention every 5 miles still, I'm not sure if it's really safer than human driving. Jeff says this is not a business. Already losing billions will not scale. This is like lip syncing for autonomous driving, but level 4. And there's a comment here. If this Cruise data is accurate, FSD beta is similar or better than Cruise on an intervention per mile basis in relation to my personal driving. And here is his data. This is miles per interaction, so higher is better. Here we don't have all that much data, so this data may not be perfectly accurate, but looking over here clearly over time there is improvement. That is, if you look at the number of interventions. The number of disengagements though has stayed roughly the same here. This is Tesla data, of course, from Dirty Tesla. And remember Dan O'Dow, no one in their right mind would want to be where FSD is today, trying to compete in the Tour de France on a tricycle. Waymo and Cruise go thousands of miles without the need for human intervention in urban driving. FSD is lucky to go 10 miles without needing human intervention. That was a post from a little while ago, but now here is his recent post. Cruise needs to answer New York Times reporting, quoting unnamed sources, that a human needs to intervene to assist their robotaxis every 2.5 to 5 miles. This is inconsistent with Cruise's California DMV reports. If the New York Times is accurate, Cruise does not have a viable robotaxi business model. They are doomed to fail. At best, they can hope to make some revenue before Tesla solves full self-driving, because once that happens, Tesla will come to every city almost immediately. And these rides are going to be much cheaper. And the board of Cruise has hired an outside law firm and technology consultants in the aftermath of an accident that led it to suspend all driverless vehicle operations, Cruise said. You know, I actually even wonder if the CEO of GM even knows that the intervention rate of Cruise is actually much worse than what was previously officially reported. Maybe she knows, but there's a good chance she does not. If that's the case, do you think she will still keep this project going? Because she was probably thinking, we have basically solved full self-driving now, it's all over, very good. But it turns out, no, not at all. Ford and Volkswagen shut down their multi-billion-dollar self-driving project Argo, so it wouldn't really be a big surprise for GM to do the same with Cruise. Oh, Tesla is sending this email. Order solar and Powerwall with 0 down and power your home with energy from the sun. Store your excess solar energy in Powerwall for use at 9 or during outages. 0 down could certainly attract many more customers. This perhaps is one reason why earlier Tesla raised some money. Ferrari says its first electric vehicle is ahead of schedule after a big step forward in Q3. And the first Ferrari EV is coming in 2025. When Elon was at Giga Berlin, he made a few remarks.
To just start off by saying thank you for your excellent hard work in creating what is I think it's one of the greatest factories in the world.
Elon also commented on this clip, Tesla team is awesome, take pride in working hard, build great products, and are good-hearted people. I will see if I can find more clips from this, but probably that's pretty much all he said there. Ross Gerber explains why stocks generally are up, including Tesla. It's a pretty simple relationship. Rates are collapsing and stocks go higher. Also, Twitter /X released this new feature which allows you to see similar posts. So I click on this and then it brings up similar posts to what Ross just posted. Pretty cool. The platform is definitely getting better. If Elon seriously focuses on X, I think eventually there's a good chance that X will become a $1 trillion company. So when X eventually goes public, I will probably want to buy some stock. You can submit a video to EPA about EVs, and if your video wins, you will win $3,000. There are multiple tiers, by the way. The submissions are due by January 23rd, and I don't think that many people will submit their videos, so if you are actually serious, you could win. Tesla has announced that it is increasing the wages of its employees in Giga Berlin. After last year's salaries were increased by up to 6%, this year they will be increased by another 4% for all employees, it was said. This increase will already be implemented with the upcoming November payment. In addition, the annual salaries of production employees will be increased by 2,500 euros from February 2024. This article that was originally published in German also says that this is the result of an internal standard process at Tesla in which employees' salaries are regularly checked to ensure fair pay. Claims that there is a connection between Tesla salary adjustments and union activity are without any truth. Tesla said IG Metall recently claimed a possible wage increase as a success of its week of action. But I think the union might have had something to do with that increase. But Tesla, of course, sort of really needs to say that anyway. The increase may not be all because of the pressure from the union, but I think it played probably at least a tiny role. This is a gigantic story. Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty on all 7 counts. He is the guy that ripped everyone off with FTX. The 7 charges bring a total possible sentence of 115 years in prison for the defendant. His dad was a huge beneficiary of the fraud, demanding to be paid $10 million from FTX. How has he not been indicted for helping in this crime, says Ross Gerber. Elon says that this is indeed the most fundamental question. Someone asked the Secretary of the United States of America a very good question that went unanswered. How many autonomous deaths are better than the current number of human-caused vehicle deaths? This needs to be answered, so we have a goal for autonomous vehicle regulatory approval. I thought that ARK Invest pretty much has totally liquidated their GM position, but turns out they still had a few shares that they just found. Alessandro said that they found some more GM shares under the sofa. It's not a significant amount, it's a very tiny amount. This is, I would say, generally good news. Global food prices fall to a 2.5-year low, which still is really high, but it's lower. Less money being spent on food means there's more disposable income to spend on cars. Look at what Elon Musk did to Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg says he tore ACL while training for a competitive MMA fight. I assume he was training for the fight with Elon Musk. Here in North America, we are about to move our clogs, but they have already done it in Europe. I think this is one of the stupidest ideas and things that we as societies still keep doing. They don't actually have it in China, by the way. And here in British Columbia, Vancouver, where I live in Canada, they are actually actively planning on abolishing this practice, to which I'm really looking forward to. I don't mind moving the clock in November because it's actually easier to get up in the morning, but in the spring, I absolutely hate that with all of my essence. By joining my Patreon, you will get access to how much I think it is fair to pay per Tesla share each year between 2023 and 2033. If you sign up for the investor tier of support, you will also get my valuation model of Tesla stock with a 45-minute video walkthrough. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching that discussion about the future with Elon Musk, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.